Well, this happened. Last night, we drove in from Colorado into Utah on our way to St. George. It was getting late. I decided to get a campsite for the night and, get some rest. Here's a shot from last night when we got here. Nice, dry, nice skies. And this happened. 3 inches of snow overnight, down to 16 degrees. Good thing we had the LF Bros N2 Pro heater. Otherwise, we would have been sleeping in the Gladiator. So it's going to make for packing up camp a little tricky. But hey, it's now officially day 1 of our adventure. Let's hope it gets better from here. Well, we are finally on dirt. We've got the Gladiator on some actual dirt. Besides the campsite last night, we're here in Dixie National Forest. We are we're somewhere northwest of St. George, Utah. We're gonna head down this road, should be pretty easy today, to a spot called White Rock. Should be absolutely beautiful. Can't wait to get going. Just gonna take the dog for a walk and we're gonna get on the road. So let me talk a bit about why I'm doing this trip. Well, it is the first outing with our new Gladiator. And the Gladiator is going to be our overlanding vehicle. So we're taking it out for its first trip to kind of figure out, what do we need? How do we pack it? How are we going to use it efficiently? And the reason I'm going to the area that I'm going to an area that is northwest of St. George, is because there are tons of trails over there. I doubt I'm going to run into anybody. There's some nice scenic views, some mildly challenging stuff, but it's just going to give me a chance to test out the Gladiator in a variety of different conditions. So again, figure out what we need instead of just buying a bunch of stuff and throwing on it all at once. One of the reasons why I wanted to come out here to this White Rocks area is because it is a very unique geographical area. And I dig this kind of stuff, whether it's big rock formations or canyons or whatever, and this is very different. These white rocks were formed by some of Earth's biggest volcanic eruptions. Crazy to think that that happened, and it was millions, 10, 20 million years ago, and this is what remains. So very cool from a geological standpoint. Now, when we go and look at some of the other areas, that is worth just taking some time, kicking back, and like letting your mind wander and look at the different shapes. It's kind of like going to Goblin Valley State Park. You'll see hoodoos and goblins and Hershey's Kisses and whatever. Let your mind run wild out there. It's really worth taking some time and checking out this area. Come on. Are you just trying to get dirty? You know I have to sleep with you tonight. No, I would have scratched you. Come on, come on. Yeah, he used to be white. That was a nice drive. Easy two-wheel drive. No need for four-wheel drive or even any high clearance unless you want to climb up on the stuff at the end. But you can get all the way there and back in your basic two-wheel drive. It's just a dirt road. It's very well maintained. In fact, I never even aired down. It's so smooth. There's a couple little short washboard sections, but nothing worth even thinking about. Now, I'm pretty sure the next couple trails I'll need to air down on. They're definitely rated higher. This is like a 2 or something, or 1. It's really easy. And I think the next one is going to be a 4. So we'll definitely be airing down and taking it a little easier there. But this was a nice little drive. Little excursion for the Gladiator's first dirt. Very excited about that. It's got the off-road plus mode, which is kind of cool because in 4 high, you can disconnect the sway bar. So that's kind of nice. And I did because we were going over some big ruts and things. Gives you a little bit more articulation. And I know, because I do it with Optimus, with the Taser, you can have the same thing. You can disconnect the sway bar in 4 high. But I don't have a Taser in this right now. And having off-road plus, kind of a nice little thing. Curious how it does in other modes. Now, it did say in the manual that it brings up off-road pages, which it didn't do, but I don't think that's a big deal. I don't really use it. I have Trails Off-Road running, and that's how I'm doing my navigation. So don't really need off-road pages. I did check to make sure that the sway bar was disconnected just to make sure it worked. But other than that, we're heading out and heading somewhere else. All right, night 2. We are here on a beautiful lake. Got the tent set up. Got some dinner going. Lucas is eating. And it's just a gorgeous afternoon. The white rocks today, really pretty. Yeah, it's been a good trip so far. A little cold last night. Woke up to this 3 inches of snow. A little unexpected, but it's part of the journey. It's part of the adventure, right? Is it what makes it fun? Yeah, that's a personal choice right there. But it's all part of it. I think we're going to have a nicer night tonight. It's a lot warmer already right now, and it's looking to be a nice evening. We'll still have the heater set up. Probably just tone it down a little bit, because it's probably going to get down to like 35, keep it a little warmer in there, but it's not going to take a whole lot to keep it warm. But I'm hungry. I think it's time for some food. We'll see you in the morning. Well, we broke camp, and what a challenge that was. It was so windy. It was crazy windy last night. Didn't get much sleep. The tent was just shaking like mad. And it was cold. I mean, it was like 18 degrees with that wind, and just brutal last night. But we got things squared away this morning, and we are on trail. We are going to be doing a, hopefully, what seems to be a slightly more difficult trail today, called Slaughter Creek. Trails Off-Road rates it a 4, so we'll see how it goes. Right now it is pretty smooth sailing. I mean, we're just getting started on it, but it's kind of sandy, very smooth road. But I suspect that I'll need to air down at some point just to make it a little bit smoother or get some extra traction. But we'll see how things go, and try and enjoy the day, because that's what we're here for. I have got to say, I love this Gladiator. It is so much different than our Wrangler. And a lot of it has to do with the year. Remember, Optimus is a 2018 JL. So that was the first year of the JL. We didn't have things like Off-Road Plus mode. And that on the Gladiator is huge. If you don't use that and you off-road with your Gladiator, and I think that's only on the Mojave and the Rubicon models, you're missing out. The big thing that I see is the way it changes the shift points. For a lot of what I'm doing on this trail, it's just big ups and downs, some climbs, some descents, and I would normally be in manual. And the reason for that is so that I can choose the shift points. I can put it in a lower gear when I'm going downhill or when I'm getting ready to do a climb, just have that extra power or a little bit of engine braking. Off-Road Plus shifts the way I would. So as I start to go up, it'll shift down into the proper gear. When I need engine braking, it shifts down into a lower gear. It has just been great, and I'm just in drive. I have not put this into manual gears yet. So I have to say, I'm very, very impressed. I love the way this thing rides. So I also want to talk about the suspension. Being a longer wheelbase and the way the suspension is set up on here, it's a very smooth ride. I would not have even hesitated to air down in Optimus for doing this. And just for the few little pieces of washboard and some of the few ruts that we run into, I would have just aired down automatically. Now, do you need to on here? Probably not, but it's just such a habit that I just would have done it. In the Gladiator, even though I've gone over some rocky surfaces and some washboards, I haven't felt like I needed to air down because it's such a smooth ride. I don't know if the rear arms are longer than the JL. I think they are, and that would give it a smoother ride. The shocks are pretty well dialed in. Really happy with that. So far, there's really nothing I would want to change for what I have done so far. Now, I'm sure I'm going to want to go with some bigger tires, just have a little bit more ground clearance, up the capability just a hair. But right now, man, this thing is performing great. I really couldn't be happier with it. There are a few things that I need to address, but nothing with the vehicle itself. It's more about storage and how I deal with camping with it. But we'll talk about that stuff later. I finally had a chance to put it in 4 low with the Off-Road Plus, and I gotta say, it feels a lot smarter than my JL. As we're going down hills, it doesn't over rev, it just downshifts when it needs to. It keeps a nice steady pace going down these steep hills. Feels really good. So for people that have Gladiators who have always raved about how nice they are, I think I start to get it. This thing is pretty fun off-road, and it feels really planted, but the shifting is so nice. And shifting into 4 low, it's still a struggle a little bit with the JL. I mean, you got to really jam it in there, and this thing just drops right into place. No big deal. Very nice. I'm very impressed. As soon as I find a spot where we can pull over that has a little bit of space, which very, very few of those on this trail, I'm going to go ahead and air down. It's getting a little rockier, well, a lot rockier, and on some of the steeper climbs, I'm getting a little bit of tire spin. So I want to air down, make sure I've got plenty of traction, and make it a little smoother over some of these sections. I could probably stop anywhere. I haven't seen anybody in 2 days, so I doubt there's anyone else out here. But just, you know, kind of trail etiquette, I'm gonna wait till I can find some spot where if somebody is coming, that they would have passing room. So hopefully there'll be a spot up here pretty soon. I know there's a couple intersections, and I'll pull over, and I'm gonna try dropping down to like 15 PSI. I want to see how that feels on these 33s. I mean, it's really comfortable, fully aired up, but I'm very curious now to see the difference in airing down on this trail. Figured I'd use the air command to air down. Never actually done it before. I only use it to air up. So I set it on 15 PSI, turn it on, and now it's going to air down all 4 tires at the same time. We'll see how it works. Kind of cool. I can't wait to feel the difference on the road. But we've been having a blast out here. Let me show you around. Look at this place. Absolutely beautiful. If you heard that shut off for a second, it's going to do that, and it just kind of calibrates itself to make sure that, you know, it's not underinflating or whatever. So every few seconds or so, well, no longer than that, maybe 20-30 seconds, you'll hear it shut off, it checks itself, and then it decides if it needs to keep going. It's down to 22.8, 22.5 PSI right now, so it should shut off here pretty soon. There we go, all aired down, time to put everything away. A 15 PSI seemed to be the magic number. It feels so good. Lot smoother. Not feeling all the little rocks as much as I was. So yeah, that's a big difference. So if you're the type that, you know, doesn't really know about airing down, or you don't really do it, it's a big difference. Keep in mind that your tires are part of your suspension, and if you soften them up by airing them down, you're gonna have a smoother ride. And in other cases, you're gonna have more traction because you're gonna have a larger footprint, and it's gonna be better on the tires going over sharper rocks. You're less likely to have a puncture. Now in Optimus, we'll air down to usually around 12 when we're on some harder off-road stuff, sometimes even down to 10, and we're not running bead locks. So I've never ever had an issue at those types of pressures. On here, I've got 33-inch tires. I don't have as much sidewall as I would on the 38s that are on Optimus, or even 35s that I'd like to put on here. But I could probably still run 12 if I needed to, but for this road right now, 15 is doing the trick. So I guess if you want to stop and take an ice bath, there's a place to do it. I think I'm going to pass for today. I'm looking forward to a warm shower later, so that's what I'm going to do. Ice bath, not for me. What a view! Wow, this is something. Look at the valley over there. I'm sure this camera is not doing that any justice whatsoever. But that is a pretty epic view from my point of view. So much of this trail we've been in trees and things and not really had much of a huge view like this. So this is really a nice bonus to this trail. With recent events that have happened lately and my 60th birthday coming up pretty soon, one of the thoughts that hits me while I'm out here on the trails by myself is how short life is, how fleeting things can be, and how things can change with no warning whatsoever. So at this point in my life, I want to live every day and finish up and say, I lived today. I don't want to regret spending time sitting on the couch not doing the things that I love to do. I want to go out and have experiences. I want to make memories. I want to go visit friends. I want to be on trails. I want to do the things that I love doing, and at the end of the day, be able to proudly say, I lived today. Lunchtime. Yeah, I know you've seen me do that a couple of times. Taking a nice burrito, putting it in the engine bay for 45 minutes to an hour, having a nice warm lunch or breakfast or dinner. Take your pick. Thank you, Katarina, for fixing those beforehand. Sure makes my life easy to get out here and just throw something on the grill and have it all ready. Lucas had his lunch. Come on, buddy. Yeah? You having fun? What do you think of this trail? You like it? It's kind of fun? Yeah. So we're having a good time. This is for this particular trail, I'd say the rating is pretty spot on for the most part. The vast majority of this trail is a 3. I would easily do this in our Subaru Outback Wilderness. Not a problem at all, except for 2 of the water crossings. Those were pretty deep. I know I could do them in the Subaru, but they would be pretty deep and it would be a little sketchy going through those, but I think it would do it. So I would call this a very low 4 or very high 3. So, you know, if you just want to call it a 4, okay, fine. I'll go with that. The rest of it is pretty easy going. You can do this in any 4x4, I would say. You know, a stock Jeep, a stock Bronco, stock Tundra, any of those types of things are going to handle this without any problems. I do recommend something that has low range because of some of the steep descents. That's going to help you use some engine braking and not have to use your brakes so much. I never once had to use lockers, not a chance, not on this trail. So no worry about that. So you don't need a Rubicon. So any stock 4x4 is going to handle this quite nicely, or pretty much any vehicle that has some decent ground clearance. And that's really for those water crossings because they're pretty deep and you want to make sure that you're not burying your exhaust in it. I think we have about 11 miles left to go. We've been on the trail for easily 3 hours and we're taking our time. You could run through this in about 4 hours without any problem, but you're not going to really do it much faster unless you're just really hauling through this, which to me kind of defeats the point because there's some pretty beautiful scenery around here. So I'm going to get back to enjoying it. Now we're just taking a little asphalt here through this little town called Gunlock. We're going to head up to another trail and see what that has in store for us today. Just cruising along, enjoying this area. It's been some pretty good wheeling so far. Nothing technical, just relaxing and a lot of fun. We're starting on Manganese Wash, just before the town of Gunlock if you're coming that direction, or just past the gravel pit if you came in the way I did. Now this is supposed to be a very easy trail, but it's going to take us to some other trails that we're going to try and do today before packing it in for the day. Donkey, donkey, donkey. We got donkey. All right, got the donkey. Some horses, more donkeys. Hey buddy, are you ready for some more trails today? What do you think? Gonna keep going? Yeah, we're having a good time. We're gonna make a turn off of Manganese Wash onto Gunlock Reservoir. Now they say this should be a little more challenging, but we're also going to get a great view or even access to Gunlock Reservoir. So if that's something you're into for fishing, kayaking, whatever, this could be a good 4x4 trail to get you there. So looking forward to seeing what this is all about here. There's another option that you can take that will take you it's basically the same end point, but just a different route. But now I got to figure out how to get through this. Now I know the desert isn't for everybody. Some people love the beaches, some people love the mountains. Well, we haven't spent any time on the beach, so I can't talk to that, but we love the mountains and the deserts. So for us, this is just wonderful. These views have been incredible. The terrain has been awesome. I am absolutely having a great time out in this area. You know, whether it's the beaches, the mountains, or the deserts, if this is what you enjoy doing, I encourage you to go do it. You can see I don't have a big lift on this truck. I don't have big tires. I don't have a rooftop tent or traction boards strapped to the side, and I'm out here making the most of it. And that's what I encourage you to do, is get out there and do what you enjoy doing.
Well, as expected, we went down to the lake. Lucas did some playing in the water. I tried some fishing, and as normal on a trail, didn't catch anything. Just throwing the wrong thing, I bet. I see some activity out there. I'm just throwing the wrong thing. Oh well, we're gonna get back and keep going.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, I absolutely love driving in the sand. It's so smooth, it's fun, sometimes you get a little squirrely. I hope this sand section goes on for quite a while. Well, one of the problems with driving in sand is it sometimes comes with these wow moments. When I'm in deep sand, the tires are spinning, and I really don't want to get stuck, I can only pray that the drone does what it's supposed to do. And in this case, that means flying around the tree, and thank goodness it did. Whew, what a relief. Now, it may not look like much on the video, but that drop off on the driver's side there is almost a 4-foot straight vertical wall. I walked up to it and I'm like, there is no way I'm driving down that in a Gladiator on 33s. So I have to take the bypass, which is pretty sketchy in its own right because it's a drop off on the passenger side.
Well, if you're running this trail in from forward instead of reverse, like I did, then the very first part of this trail is basically going to be your gatekeeper. There's no way I would take my Subaru on here. And in fact, it was probably even a little sketchy taking a stock Gladiator through there. I definitely scraped on the back once or twice. Fortunately, I've got that hitch skid plate there, so no harm, no foul. But man, that was definitely a little sketchy. So we're gonna call it a day here, and yeah, relax for the evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. It is day 3. We're excited to spend the final day out here in the area. Right, buddy? Yep, we are, huh? Yeah, okay, he's excited. We're starting off on a trail called Potter's Peak that we're going to take to a trail called Upper Beaver Dam Wash. Should be a lot of fun, should be pretty scenic, lots of water crossings. I think it might actually be the highlight of the trip. We'll see. Let's get rolling. Well, so far there isn't much along Potter's Peak. Looks like some old ranch property. You see an old car every once in a while, an old tractor here and there. Not much in the way of views, but it's just a connector road, I guess. So what I'm really looking forward to is going up to the wash. Up ahead, oh, we got some nice houses up there on the hills. That's got to be nice. And we got the creek running next to us, so it's not bad. A very smooth road. I would say it's pretty well maintained since there seems to be a lot of housing back in here. But we don't have far to go. Only 3¼ miles from the trailhead to get to Upper Beaver Dam Wash, which is our main destination for today. That is a big rock wall. That took a lot of time to build. Okay, we have found the intersection to Upper Beaver Dam Wash. Slaughter Creek, we did that. And some other trails over there. You literally could spend a week driving around here. There are so many little trails to explore, so much to see. You might find one and it's like, that wasn't so great. Just a little road through a wide open area. And then you get to another one and you're like, wow, this is amazing. Incredible views. Like this. I mean, those rock formations there at the top, super, super cool. Yet another of many water crossings, apparently. That was a pretty one. Other than that, it is bone dry out here. There is no sign that there's been water out here in a long time. It's pretty evident when you look at the trees and stuff that are around the trail. They're just covered in dust. You don't get that sharper green stuff off the green look off the plants if they've been watered down a little bit. But everything out here looks dead and dying, except for the creek. It's a nice little creek. Oh, that one was a little deeper. And it's throwing mud everywhere. Yay! Well, the Gladiator's definitely going to need a bath after this trip, inside and out. falling down walls here. Looks like when we go around, there may even be some old appliances there. Oh, we got a bathtub. No kitchen sink. Well, maybe that's on the other side. No bathroom sink anyway. And we do. We have everything, including the kitchen sink and a stove. Oh, look at this fireplace. Well, how about that was something back in the day? No, is that I don't know. Looks like a washer of some kind. Pretty darn cool. It looks like it might have been a small corral, maybe for a horse or something. Pretty darn cool. This definitely was the highlight of the trip with all the water crossings and everything. Ton of fun. And this trip was really about learning what we need on the Gladiator to make it an efficient overlanding machine. And there's a few things. First off, the Starlink mount. I'll show you what I've got going here, which was my basic solution. I've got it roller strapped to the headrest that's folded down, so it's pointed up. It's working well, but definitely not a solid solution. So I went into St. George and met with American Adventure Lab. Now, they're not a sponsor. They didn't give me anything. I paid for everything, but I bought the overhead MOLLE panel with the Starlink mount. And that's going to go up in this area all the way across and front to back with a strip going front to back. I'll show you a picture of it here. Looks pretty darn cool. And that's going to solve my Starlink situation. It's going to give me a place to mount the radio. It's going to give me a place to mount some other things. I don't know, first aid kit, whatever. I'll figure out what all we're going to use it for. Secondly, we need to solve a storage problem back here. While I like the security of this, I like how flat it is, how sturdy it is and everything, there's just not enough room. I managed to get everything I needed for this trip, either in the bed or in the back seat, and it was loaded. I mean, it was such a pain to get to everything. We need a solution. So I'm looking at some kind of cap, whether it's a soft cap or a hard cap. We're looking at some kind of cap back here to make it easier to get stuff packed back here without taking up the back seat. The back seat needs to be for the essentials, the refrigerator, power stations, Lucas, if Katarina's with me, camera gear, drone gear. That stuff needs to be in the cab. All the camping gear needs to be back here. And that was a problem. So we're looking at a solution for that. Otherwise, I think I'm in pretty good shape. Now, another thing that I'm looking at is some kind of roof storage. That just gives me some extra room to throw stuff like maybe the tent or things like that, that they're in their own packages, that they're not going to get ruined if they get rained on or something. So we need to figure out just a few things to really get this dialed in for the things that I want to do. Now, certainly hitting some trails, it's going to be easier if we have a lift and we have some tires, but those things can come down the road. Right now, we need to solve immediate problems in making sure that the next trip is more efficient and more practical. Now, another thing I want to mention is when it comes to packing, we made a big mistake. We have two big totes. One is the kitchen tote and one is the camping gear tote. And those totes are way up here. Well, those are the things I need to get to the most. The things I have back here are the shower system, a water filter, things that I might not even use on a trip. So why are the things that are the most used the least accessible and vice versa? I should have put those things in the front and put the totes in the back to make easier access to them. So lesson learned there. We didn't have these types of things to deal with the trailer. We did need to figure out how to organize it for our own purposes, but for the most part, everything had its place. There was a camping drawer, a kitchen drawer, you know, a tool drawer, things like that. So it came together pretty easy. In a new vehicle like this, where we just don't have any experience taking it out and using it, doing a trip like this really showed what I really need in order to get to the next level of comfort and efficiency. So that's it for this trip. I hope you enjoyed it. Lucas seems a little tuckered out, but I enjoyed it immensely. This was a lot of fun. Didn't see very many people. I saw one vehicle on the trail the entire 3 days out here. So it was definitely an isolated area. I think most people who come to St. George go into Sand Hollow and do those types of trails, or Tokerville Falls. We wanted to do something that was a little bit different, and we definitely had our experiences. We had the snow on the way here. We had horrible wind the next night. So yeah, few things to work on. But we hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Big thank you to the Patreons who really help make this possible for us to do these types of things. Really appreciate it. Link is in the description. It's just patreon.com/trailtraveler if you want to help support what we do and you like these types of videos. If you have suggestions on the things that I talked about on the Gladiator that would help our efficiency and solve some of the problems, let me know in the comments. Love to hear what you guys have done to outfit your rigs and make them more efficient. So from Lucas and I out here in the wilds of Utah, thanks for watching. Be safe out there. We'll see you on the trails.